Welcome, welcome, welcome to Class 3 of the 2017 Summer Prosperity Series. Yay! And so my question, should you choose to accept it, as always, is, are you ready?
Oh, yes!
Are you ready to have what you want to have?
Yes!
Are you ready to go where you want to go?
Yes!
Are you ready to buy what you want to buy?
Yes!
Are you ready to do what you want to do?
Yes!
Get up off your butts and do your treatment for prosperity together aloud.
I didn't know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share, today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is.
So, how many of you were not here last week? Great. If you would like to be in the increased income program, I'm sure that someone will run upstairs and get the box out of the supply cabinet that still has the blank ones in there and bring them down. You can take this, fill it out, sign it, tear off the please put me on the list panel, keep the treatment panel, and your commitment is to do this treatment at least once a day. I'd suggest you do it 100 times a day, do it 1,000 times a day, do it in your sleep, set the law in motion, and then as increased income shows up, you too can come to the front of the class with your tithe check and share your stories of how money has just appeared in your life. And that's the way it works. As you demonstrate increased income, write out your check, bring it up, line up, tell your story in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, and let everybody cheer for your success and your prosperity. Who has money, income that they have demonstrated this week? Come on up. You have your check? Checks. Bring up your checks. You got your check?
My notification came today.
I want your checks. Dan, you got your money? Come on up. This is about income.
No, I only have $100 bill.
Carrie brought a pile of checks up the hill from the mailbox today, so I have a regular tithe for like $500. But the increased income portion, on the way to class last week, we heard on the radio that Roger Waters was playing in Greensboro to all the Pink Floyd fans, and I decided, how silly would I be not to go see Roger Waters? So I got in the car, got a ticket, got there, and my seat was on the floor, 28th row, which sounds cool until you get there and realize there's 29 rows. It's still cool. And then, kind of as standard concert etiquette goes, there's somebody sitting in my seat. So I sit in the next vacant seat, and I'll bring it up if somebody comes to their seats, which they did. So I go, hey bro, you're in my seat. And he's got like, oh, well, we've got 3 people, and we've got this extra ticket, and this guy right here didn't want it, so we can just give you our ticket. I'm like, where is it? So he said it was in the 8th row on the aisle. And the way it was set up, like with the aisle, like I was basically like just petting Roger Wattles. As he did stuff. So I figured that was like worth an extra $100 worth of tickets.
Yeah.
Who else? good lineup.
They come.
I know, I love this class. I love how we reach out into thin air and grab money so that we can learn, we can reach out into thin air and grab anything that we want. Come on up, Thomas. Let me set you up here.
That's right. I've been liking setup. So I have credit card statements, and the credit card statement I check them every I check them every month, but I check, see how many points I got occasionally. So this past month I checked and I said, oh, I got enough for $100. So I just got the $100 today, and then something else happened today that was really exciting for me, that actually Barbara and John have worked on with me, and that's manifesting a duplex. I had built a duplex, and so I have had people staying there since 2007. And so I've had one person come to me and say, my mother's sick, so she's gonna move out. And usually what I need to go through is this process of putting an ad in the paper and then meeting people out there and then finding the right persons, because always there's a perfect person. So this time, she said, I know someone who's interested, and she's been here. And so I met her out there a couple days ago, actually on Sunday, and she loved the place, and she loved being there, and so I went through all her references today, called people, and they love her as a worker, love her as her tenant, and so I called her and said, you can come and you can be a new renter. She said, I'd like to do that. So I didn't have to do, I didn't get to do that process of looking for people. It just manifesting quickly and easily.
Well, the first thing that I got was I made $28 selling some supplements, and so then I found like 3 different pennies laying around on 3 different days, and then I have a property that I manage, and I had asked our guy to cut down these bushes that were dying, and he kept forgetting, and he didn't have the tools, and it took forever, and he was at my house, and I said, well, can you go cut down those bushes? And he said, well, since it's taking so long and I never have the tools, I'm just gonna come and do it for free tomorrow. So he did the work for free, and so that was mine.
Today I helped Sherry move some stuff in the storage. Got a big tip. Week before last Monday, I helped my neighbor try to fix something on her car. Got a little tip. Not too mechanically inclined.
What I didn't tell you last week from my service connection was that I doubled my income and it's tax-free.
Oh, yeah?
Wow. Last week, while I was here, my phone rang and it was somebody from here hiring me to do a photography job.
Ooh.
And then today I got a check in the mail for $27 from a mystery account. I'll take it.
Oh, she already put it in the donation station electronically. Yay!
Yay.
Yay, so this is the actual, are you coming up? Come on up. You got your check ready, Jane?
I'm ready.
Do you have your check ready?
Oh, but it's not a check.
No, we're talking about money right now. So this is the first week of the increased income program, and I want you to know that every week the line will get longer and longer and longer because you are creating money. We talked about all kinds of other things in this class, but the increased income program is specifically for demonstrating money. And that is to teach you that you are never backed up against the wall, that you can always create whatever you want, and money is a tangible item that most people enjoy, that you can learn to reach out into thin air and grab. So next week when you come in, you've got your story, get your check ready, line up, and watch the stories unfold week after week after week, greater and greater and greater numbers of people and money. How many people have taken this class in the past? How many of you have demonstrated increased income? Exactly, exactly. So we're taking off, the train has left the platform, and we're going chukka, 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 chukka. Yay. And that's awesome. Yay.
And he's wearing his yellow pants.
With the green jersey.
Yes, with the green Tommy Bahama shirt. So we're feeling very prosperous today. How many of you feel prosperous? Yeah. You know that simply by being here, you're in the top 3% of income producers in the world. Already. You're already prosperous. You're already wealthy. By world standards, you're already at the top of the list. So another question, how many of you have a place to go home and sleep now? Okay, it's pretty consistent. Do you have a place, Barbara? I was wondering.
We redid our floors and actually we're still sleeping in the offices.
But the floors are gorgeous. They're just still off-gassing, so we're doing temporary things. Anyway, how many of you used a motor vehicle to get to class tonight? See, you guys already have it done. So what are we doing here? We're doing some refinement. We're moving into that next level. You know, maybe going from the 3% to the 2%, however that works. But that's what we're here to do, is to really look at how we deal with the flow in our lives, the prosperity in our lives, and how we could do it better, right? How we could do it more effectively. None of us are doing anything wrong, obviously. Being here already demonstrates you're playing a great game and you're doing life really well. Is there something else that you want? Chances are there is. So what are you going to do to get it? Well, I have a plan that I've been teaching in this class for years, and I still believe it really works. One thing about it, though, that has never really worked for me is that I slam it down your throat in one night. So we're going to try it a different way. We're going to slow things down and really get into the meat of creating that sustainable prosperity in our lives. Because I believe there's a system for that. And I really should get set up here so that I can remember what I want to tell you. I have this formula. I know that it works. Charles Fillmore had a perfect example of the thing we're going to begin with. He had a phrase that is quoted probably more than anything of Charles Fillmore. You know who that is, the founder of Unity? Yeah. Brilliant guy. Myrtle's husband, yes. That's probably his greatest accomplishment. He said, I fairly sizzle with a zeal and enthusiasm to spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. I fairly sizzle with a zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Some people call that his purpose statement. If it was his purpose statement, it's brilliant. Because it's filled with excitement and enthusiasm and commitment and faith and all the elements that created one of the great American religious or spiritual movements. Anybody here ever been to Unity Village? Pretty amazing, right? Yeah. Quite a big place. Quite a beautiful place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I'm visiting in November.
Yes. It's in Missouri.
It is. It's in Missouri. It's in Lee Summit, Missouri.
Yeah.
And it's really its own municipality, and it's where Unity created its global headquarters. And that was out of the work largely of Charles. Myrtle was certainly involved. She passed on quite a few years before Charles did, but they both really created this wonderful movement and have touched millions of lives in the world. So apparently, he did what he said he was going to do. He did the things that ought to be done by him and created this amazing spiritual movement. Now, not all of us are going to go off and create a spiritual movement, but that's okay. We still have things to do that are the things that ought to be done by each one of us. And so that's where we're going to begin tonight, is looking at this idea of purpose. And I want to share with you some of the things I know about this. I know that when we have a plan, amazing things happen. Does it always happen exactly according to our plan? No. But when we focus and apply ourselves, amazing things happen. And however that's supposed to be, it shows up. Because we have taken the time to focus our intention. And a purpose statement is an intention. Probably the most important one of anyone's life. So I want to share with you from, pull this together. There it is. Everybody know who Rumi is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Jalaluddin Rumi, the Sufi mystic poet.
Where was Rumi from? Anybody?
Persia.
Persia, yeah, exactly.
What is Persia today?
Iran. And other areas.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite exactly the same. Golly, I was sure it was marked here. Okay. I'll come back to it again.
Want me to find it?
Yeah, find it for me.
Fix the name.
It's called The Work. Yeah. So let me tell you about this idea of purpose. The first thing to know about your purpose is you have always had it. You came here with it. It's part of you. The thing is that if something's part of you and you're not consciously aware of it, it's not as effective. You can't apply it as you could if you knew what it was, consciously. But at some level you do, because what I have discovered is that when people articulate their purpose statement, it's something they were doing long before they ever came up with the statement. It fits. You can look backwards and see how it's fit all along. And that's true for you too. But there's value in actually being able to state it and to remind yourself. Being able to apply it, being able to compare things to it, to see if those things are in alignment with it. So I invite all of you to, how many of you actually have a statement right now in your life that speaks of the direction you're moving that you can articulate right now, even if I'm stepping on your foot? Okay, very good. So just a handful, which means we all have some work to do. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with this. Find it? Oh, yeah. The real work. That's it. Listen to this. There is one thing in this world that you must never forget to do. If you forget everything else and not this, there's nothing to worry about. But if you remember everything else and forget this, then you will have done nothing. Nothing in your life. He's pretty rough about this. It's as if a king has sent you to some country to do a task and you perform 100 other services, but not the one he sent you to do. So human beings come to this world to do particular work. That work is the purpose. And each is specific to the person. If you don't do it, it's as though a priceless Indian sword was used to slice rotten meat. It's a golden bowl being used to cook turnips, when one filing from that bowl could buy 100 suitable pots. It's a knife of the finest tempering, nailed into a wall to hang things on. You say, but look, I'm using the dagger. It's not lying idle. Do you hear how ludicrous that sounds? For a penny, an iron nail could be bought to serve that purpose. You say, but I spend my energies on lofty enterprises. I study jurisprudence and philosophy and logic and astronomy and medicine and all the rest. But consider why you do these things. They are all branches of yourself. Remember the deep root of your being, the presence within you. Give your life to the one who already owns your breath and your moments. If you don't, you'll be exactly like the man who takes a precious dagger and hammers it into the kitchen wall for a peg to hold his dipper. You'll be wasting valuable keenness and foolishly ignoring your dignity and your purpose. It's true. We do come here to do something. You want to be wealthy. We all love to be prosperous. But it's in living that course and doing that work that you create the opening for that to flow to you. Next time, I won't be here next week. I'll be here the week after. And at that point, we're going to talk about this idea of what you want. And what you want can take two forms. It can be what you want to get or what you want to give. Which one should go first of those two? Give. You're already prosperous. You want more flow in your life? The only way to do that is by giving. So the focus has to be in the giving. Purpose is built around the giving. You give yourself, you bring yourself to life, you do something that is meaningful and valuable, and life is irresistibly called to flow back to you. You cannot outgive life. None of us can. The more you give to life, the more you will get. Now you can give and still have the brakes on. You can complain that you're not getting while you're giving, and that disqualifies all of your giving. And that's part of this idea of openly giving ourselves to life. And we recognize that, we begin the recognition of that through this idea of purpose. What is the purpose for us to be here? Some thoughts around this. Your purpose statement, and I'm going to be asking you here, in fact, do you want to go ahead and start handing the purple one up in the upper left corner there? Very good. The purpose, your purpose statement has to excite you. It has to be something that really speaks to who you are. You should say it with a smile on your face, with an idea that, get this that I'm about to tell you. This is my purpose. This is why I'm here. It has to be true. You have to believe in it. You have to see it in your life. That's why I said you can look, once you have it, you can look back on your life and see how that's really always been what was important to you. When you were in alignment with this idea that has come to you, you were happy. You were excited about life. You were engaged in life. Your life was working. And when you weren't doing that, your life was kind of crummy. It wasn't working. It was hard. It was unfulfilling. It's important, I find, in this idea of creating a purpose statement, it's important to make it simple. Make it to where a 12-year-old would have no trouble understanding. Don't get fancy. The idea is that you can articulate it so simply as one sentence, one idea. It's the kind of thing that you could say in your home, at your work, at a party. It's easy because it's who you are. This idea of a purpose is why you came here. It's why you're in a physical body. And you came to contribute to the whole of humanity. And in the midst of that, you certainly will receive lots. And that's lovely. But it doesn't initiate in the receiving, it initiates in the giving. In the giving of yourself fully to life. They did a study back in the 1930s. This is old news, but it's really good. Back in the 1930s, they interviewed graduates at Yale University. And they asked them what their plans were. Some of them had very clear plans. And they knew what they wanted to do with their lives, and off they went. Others said, well, I'm looking for opportunities. They didn't have a plan. They didn't know why they were moving forward. They had the opportunity to get an education at Yale. They got a good education. They figured that was an asset, but they hadn't really figured out how to use it yet. So, let's see how many years later was it. It was at least 20 years later. What they realized was that those that had the plan had all achieved extreme success. And the ones that didn't either had very moderate, modest success or none at all. There's something to this idea of creating a plan for your life. There's something to, and it doesn't matter how old you are when you do this. There have been plenty of people in their 60s and 70s and 80s that set a course for the rest of their life. And not only found success and found a way to really contribute meaningful to life, but they lived longer because they had stuff to do. You know, when you lose your passion for life, there's not a whole lot of reason to be here. So if you like this thing, being on planet Earth, being in the human body, maybe this would be a good thing to start creating in your life so that as you move forward, you really get to the inspired experience of being human on planet Earth. So there's some real good work to this. I have a definition for you. And at the bottom of your purple sheet, I want you to write this down. A purpose statement. A purpose statement is a clearly defined proclamation. A purpose statement is a clearly defined proclamation of personal responsibility. That articulates, articulates, articulates an individual's lifelong direction. A purpose statement is a clearly defined proclamation of personal responsibility. Clearly defined proclamation of personal responsibility that articulates an individual's lifelong direction and reason for being. Now, an individual's lifelong direction and reason for being. You have a reason for being. And to be able to articulate it, to be able to say it concisely and clearly, gives you an advantage over most people on the planet. They have a purpose too, they just don't know what it is. You're having the opportunity to look within yourself. You need it again?
Yeah, go from lifelong direction on.
How about we do the whole thing?
All right.
A purpose statement is a clearly defined proclamation of personal responsibility that articulates an individual's lifelong direction and reason for being. Here's some guidelines to make this really work. The statement must be concise. One sentence, no longer than one sentence, and not many commas either. It's not meant to go on and on, it's meant to be concise. What it does is it captures the spirit of your life. Oh, in one sentence, the spirit of my life. What would that look like? It reveals your passion. It needs to be understandable, as I said earlier. 12-year-olds should hear it and go, okay. It's actually, this is an interesting piece of it. It's a collaboration of your mind and your heart. A collaboration of your mind and your heart. Which means you can't overthink it. You gotta let it reveal itself within you. No one can know your purpose. No one, it's not like buying a mantra. It doesn't work that way. You have to find the words that work for you. It needs to be as clear and concise as an epitaph. Except you're not waiting till the end to have it out there. And you should be able to recite it from memory, even in the most difficult of situations. If you could do all that, then you'll have your purpose statement, you'll have a purpose. So let me tell you my story. so that you won't think that I just popped with this and it just showed up. I was in my early 20s. I was living in Houston, Texas, working for a big oil field equipment company. And I actually saw an advertisement for a time management course. I went to the time management course. There were hundreds of people. I couldn't believe how many people were there. And this guy, I want to learn how to manage my time, and he wants to talk about purpose. But then he read his purpose, or he spoke it. He said it. And I was dazzled by it. I don't remember what it was. But during the break, I went out and got close, and I read it again, and I copied it down. And I kind of tried to play with that being mine for a while. It wasn't mine, so it didn't stick. And then one day, I heard Robert Schuller say his statement of purpose. I was dazzled again. So I tried to incorporate something there as mine. What I realized was that if someone had asked me what my purpose was, I would have said, excuse me, I'll be right back. And I would go find it and read it to them. Not my purpose. And I don't remember the day. I don't remember where I was. But it just came. It was just there. And I've been pondering it. My purpose is to reveal the presence of divine spirit. Wherever I am and whatever I do. That's my job. Is to reveal the presence of divine, the power of divine presence. To reveal the power of divine presence, meaning that every one of you has that power within you. My job is to reveal it. My job is to pull up a mirror and show you who you are. My job is to call it out of you. And not just out of people, but out of circumstances. I remember a few months ago, I had one of those moments where when we found out that our mortgage had a balloon note and it was coming due. We had no plans to deal with that. We had a meeting and everybody's freaking out. What are we going to do? Those bastards at the bank, blah, 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 blah. And I just stopped and said, something wonderful is coming from this. Something wonderful is happening here. And that was the revelation of truth. Because through the work of a number of people, we renegotiated with a different financial institution, and our monthly payments on our mortgage went from $10,500 a month to $3,500 a month. Wow. That's dazzling. Wow. That's dazzling. We are a financially sound institution, which means we're in a place to grow even more financially sound. Because that's where it happens. People who have money can borrow all the money they want. You know, they can do anything they want. They're of course very responsible with that. But money comes to people with money easily. That's what you want in your life, right? Yes. So that's what we're working on. That's where we're going. You got to know why you're here. Why are you here? So I've given you these elements to play with. And I want you to spend a little time right now beginning the process. Like with me, you don't have to have it figured out tonight. But write something down. And then let what you wrote down annoy the hell out of you. Because it's not quite there. Or maybe it is. Maybe it'll pop for you and you'll just get it. And that's it. It doesn't matter which way you do it. But I want you to sit with it for the next few minutes. And think about this and write something down. Write your name at the top. And it says, my purpose is to fill in that blank. See what comes. Dazzle yourself. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Sandy.
Apparently I was unsure the last time I did this exercise, or is it possible for it to shift and change considerably?
I think how you articulate it shifts and changes.
Okay.
You become more clear about it. It becomes more revealed to you.
Because it came like...
Great. Do you remember what it was? Oh, today it came?
Just now.
Boom. Go girl. That's great. Write it down. Everybody write it down. is wrong right now. The fact that you're doing it at all is a progress, point of progress. Most of you won't need this, but I want to share another thought about what purpose statements are not. They're not about your job.
I was gonna ask, because I
Yeah,
think
there.
that was one of the first caveats.
Yeah, it's
that
not
you
your job.
said.
Your job needs to be in alignment with your purpose, but you can't say your purpose is what you do when you go to work. Although it's fully involved in that. It's something more than that. You know, 80% of people say what the job they do is not ideal. They're not happy, completely happy with their job, 80%. That's weird. Your role in your family or in your community is not your purpose. So being a parent, being a neighbor, not your purpose. Something clearer than that. You know, this minister or psychologist did not show up on his purpose. Yeah, being those things aligns with my purpose. So it looks like most of your pens have stopped. So here's the thing about a purpose. It can't be wrong. It cannot be wrong. Wherever you're starting is fine. Only you know if there's more refinement to do with that. So because it can't be wrong, and in the spirit of that, I want you to find somebody and share what you wrote down. Find somebody across from you, next to you, however you want to do it. And share with them what you wrote Everybody share? Wonderful. Who heard a purpose statement that really impressed you? Okay. Sherry, who'd you hear that from? From Kristen. Kristen, share your statement with us. What happened to that mic? Is it gone? Barbara's going to bring a mic. Let's go ahead and get this on the table for the proper line. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, you go do my running? So everybody listen up. This is Kristen's purpose statement.
My purpose is to bring light and love to the universe through laughter, beauty, and authenticity.
Very good. Very good. Who else wants to? Heard an amazing one. You're not promoting yourself right now. Somebody, so you heard a great one?
I did.
Who'd you hear from, Sandy?
David Phillips.
All right, let's hear it.
Put you on the spot. You're
Thank you.
Oh.
My purpose is to shine divine energy that shares the energy of others in a way that is clearly only one energy.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Sylvia.
Judith. No.
Sylvia saying that she
Yeah.
heard yours.
Oh, so I tell
Yeah,
you.
you're not doing yourself here. Somebody else is
Read your statement.
Read my statement. My purpose is to reveal the light within myself and others.
very nice.
Yay.
Very clear. Who else heard a dazzling one? Susan, who'd you hear? Fantastic. Tracy.
My purpose is to stand for equality for all.
Yay!
Now, there's something interesting that just happened with Tracy. She didn't read it.
Stood up.
Not making any of you wrong. She stood up and she spoke it. And claimed it. And I'm not making the rest of you in any way wrong, but that's where you want to get to. You want to get to where it's just there. My purpose is to reveal and release the power of divine presence wherever I am and in whatever I do. That's me. That's who I am. That's what I do. And you need to be able to do that. And if you can't, if you go, what did I write? Then you still got some work to do. I'm talking about tonight. I'm talking about stay with this. This isn't a one-night deal where you get it and you just go. It's something that I want it to haunt you. I want it to bug you. I want it to keep coming up in your thoughts so that you've got to deal with this thing in a way that it just becomes an integral part of your very being. It's already there. You're just giving it words. And if the words need to change a little, you'll feel that. You'll feel it. There'll be something there that goes, I need to refine this a little bit. And then it'll just hit whenever it's supposed to. This is so cool. Who else wants to recommend somebody? Michael, do you
I had a question.
okay, I'll come to your question in a second. Let's just finish this exercise and I'll get back to you. Okay, all right. April is up.
My purpose is to assist others in enhancing their daily experience at the department.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Has that always been how your life has worked when you were happy? It is. Say it. That's it. That's it. Because that's what you feel like. This didn't just happen tonight. This isn't something that's just starting now. It's always been that way. When you were really on course in your life, you were doing this. Your purpose was alive. Who you got? We got one right here. Chris.
Wait, there's a microphone coming.
My purpose is to serve my community with love, enthusiasm, and inspiration.
Very nice. Very good. Very good. Anybody else want to nominate somebody here? Jane, you want to I'm not having you read yours. You got to nominate whoever you heard from.
Oh.
That's what we're doing.
Mine needs a little rewriting, but basically.
Okay, so Darcy?
Mine needs a little rewriting, but I put my purpose is to be God, truth, and spread love, light, and wisdom wherever I go.
I love it. Yeah. Anyone else? We got one back here. Michelle's pointing at Mandy.
Go. My purpose is to draw.
Hold on. Let's get you out loud here.
My purpose is to draw and create beautiful art.
Oh, okay. We got it? Michael, what's your question or comment?
So, how do you have any suggestions or recommendations on how to reconcile having a purpose?
Speak into the mic so everybody can hear you.
Do you have any suggestions or whatever else I just said?
Recommendations. We were listening.
To reconcile the idea of this is what I want my purpose to be, but I don't necessarily see it as a piece. When I think about my purpose, and then I assess it against whether that has been an integral part of my life, it feels like it falls short. So do I then focus, again, suggestions, it's not the right word, but do I focus on what has been true in the past, or what I vision my
Let's talk
better
about
self?
it. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What'd you write down?
I will say nothing.
I will say nothing. That's what you wrote down?
I didn't write down,
Okay, you didn't write it down.
writing something.
Okay, all right. Well then, let's create a scenario that we can talk about. So, what would it be that you have a thought, you don't recognize it in the past, but it's what came to you tonight as you were thinking about this? Make something up.
Knowing God's spirit in myself and others.
Okay. So,
but it's not true. I mean, it is, but it's not, and that's. I don't feel like I'm being authentic.
Let's talk about that. It is, but we'll talk about that. But it is to start with. Have you had times in your life where that was clearly important to you?
Yes.
Okay. Were you happy when you had those times?
Yes.
Okay. Where you had a more intense focus. I mean, like it was important. It was something important. So look at this idea of being God. Even though it was scary, and not something you would ever want to say out loud.
My experience with happiness and excitement and joy are elusive.
Okay, good for you. So, what about being happy? I'm not saying that's your purpose. I'm saying, what in that statement came to you tonight? What are the elements of it? What are the attributes of that idea that you just said to us?
See, but that's where I shift, because when I think about things that have gotten me most juiced, for lack of better words, I think about my role in the classroom and what I do to and for my students.
So you're a mathematician, you're a teacher, you teach calculus.
Well, that's your problem.
Have you ever been in those conversations about where people would mathematically explain the divine? You know of those conversations?
I've done it more through chemistry than through math.
Okay, fantastic, but you've done it. So, when you do that, is that exciting to you? I mean, is there something elemental there that just you're called to do? Even though you can explain the divine through it. Doesn't really turn you on. What was it that caused you to have a conversation with your beloved Jan? To say, I gotta get to North Carolina.
Yes, dear, I will follow you to North Carolina.
She's the one that wanted to come here?
She is absolutely the one.
And you were the one that came here a year before her?
Yes, sir.
Obviously you do everything backwards.
And I would love to give you an out of this, just because we could go on.
There's no problem in what you're saying.
Oh, I understand.
I think what you're saying is that perhaps you have held those feelings, those ideas, those intentions down because you had other things that you thought were more important. That you had obligations and responsibilities, and that you did what you had to do to make your life work, and you haven't really allowed yourself to blossom for it. And that now you're at a place where you can do that. So don't rely heavily on your past. Be in the moment now. Claim what is you. Let it come forth, and let it prosper you and your beautiful wife and everyone around you. Because that's who you are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions or thoughts with this idea? Don't lose this piece of paper. Don't set it down. Don't throw it away. Keep it close. Stick it up somewhere. Let it annoy you. Yes?
I can see why you would have wanted to copy the purpose statement of the time management facilitator and Robert Schuller, because I had difficulty. Dangerous. I had difficulty putting my words down, even though I feel like I know what my purpose is. And then when I listen to everyone, it's like, oh, that sounds like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like what I was trying to say. Not calculus by any means. That, you know, so I can see how you were I think we all are, when we hear something that resonates with us and sounds so similar to what we're trying to say, because we think we know that's our purpose, but we were struggling with the words. I mean, that was just my thought.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's done in earnest. It's not like if anything you heard, you want, let me write that down.
Right.
That's logical. That's who we are. We're inspired by something. We want to write it down. The point is, though, that's just a starting point. That's just, you've written something down. There's no right or wrong to it. You'll know in time if it's right, or if it needs to be revised or rethought a bit. It doesn't matter. You can't make a mistake here. When it's right, you'll know. When it's absolutely complete, you'll know. Darcy.
I just wanted to say that we live in a loving and supportive world. Our Creator wants to love and support us, and by setting our purpose, it's like putting our intent out in the universe for it to act upon.
Absolutely, and that's the key, is that by having a plan, no matter how imperfect you may believe it is, it sets you on a course. It sets you in a direction. A purpose statement is not a destination. You can't get there. There's no there to get to. It's a direction. It's like, today, I'm going to do it this way. And when tomorrow comes, you go, today, I'm going to do it this way. And that's the way you can consistently go. The elements of that come in to create the prosperity in your life come along the way. They come on their own, what it seems like their own accord, but you're creating them by being on that course. You know, I've had wonderful experiences in my life. I've been around the world working with people, learning. It's been extraordinary in my life. But my life really came together when I came to this city. It wasn't the city. It was finally that I settled down and focused on what I wanted. That's when it happened. You know, I had already been ordained as a minister in our movement, but I hadn't applied it yet. I thought that was Barbara's path. I thought mine was something else, so I went off to get a PhD. I don't regret getting the PhD. It's been helpful. But truly, this is my life. This is my work. This is what fills me up, is to be with you. I resisted it for years. But being here, staying here, focusing here, having every one of you beloveds find this place so that we can have this relationship, so that I could live my purpose, is the best thing going. Okay, second to finding Barbara. But only second to finding Barbara. It's all part of the same thing. It's all part of this path. And there's something about constancy of purpose that plays into that. If we stay on our course and live according to our purpose, we must be prosperous. It doesn't show that every day. It's not like God, remember 2008? That didn't feel very prosperous at all, but we stayed the course. It was almost a year that Barbara and I were paid, because that's our agreement with this. The paycheck was written, and we got it, and we cashed it, and I wrote a check for the exact same amount back to this center. And you say, well, you're playing games. No, I was being in integrity with what we said we would do. The center has always paid Barbara and me for our being here. Barbara mostly, because I've been off doing other things, but however that is arranged, it was always kept. This center has always been in integrity with that. Paid up. Tithe first, pay the minister second. That's how we did it from the beginning, and we never stopped, even when the center couldn't afford it. And when the center couldn't afford it, we put enough money in to do it. That's what it took. Now it works really well. Now it's just not even an issue. We are prosperous. Barbara and I are living a very prosperous life. And it's due to the center, but it's truly due to our being in integrity and being in alignment with our purpose. That's what made this work for us. And it doesn't just work here, that's simply an example. It works wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're clear about why you're here and you move forward with that, it will unfold in a way that will serve you and make you prosperous. Yes, Darcy?
There must be some correlation between affirmations and purpose, because you have to know the end result before you actually get there.
Oh, we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna work on that. I don't think we're gonna get there tonight. I'm intentionally slowing this thing down. But that is the ultimate goal right there, what you said, the ultimate objective. So yes, we're going to get there. Yes, sir.
Not wanting to slow things down myself, I would like to add that I like to end my purpose saying the best possible feeling or in the best possible way. That way I don't fail myself in my purpose.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's a lovely thought, yeah. Always knowing that you're doing your best with it. That's a very affirming thing to say. So that's great, that's great. This is your journey. You set the course. And there has to be direction to it. We'll talk about what the objectives are out there to accomplish. Right now we're just creating some movement in a direction so that you have something to compare anything and everything you choose to do. Is that in alignment with my purpose? Is this thing that I say I'm going to do in alignment with my purpose? Because what will happen is your purpose is there whether you're remembering it or not. And if you're unhappy, that means you're doing something that is not in alignment with your purpose. But when you know what it is, when you can articulate it, what you're actually doing is making it easier. So you don't have to wonder why suddenly things feel off. You say it. Is this in alignment with my purpose? Say your purpose statement. Well, you know what? This thing I'm doing is not in alignment with my purpose. I'm ticked off at somebody. I'm afraid about something. That's not in alignment with your purpose. So when you're doing that, you're not getting where you wanted to go. The easiest path, the clearest path, is to stay in alignment with your purpose. And when you do things that fall out of that, the trick is to get back in alignment as quickly and clearly as you can. Now, when you're in the middle of being really ticked off at somebody or something, or really concerned about something, it takes some mind thought to get back there. You're like, you got to let that go. That was this wonderful thing that I heard the minister from Unity of Phoenix say at the INTA conference I was in last week. He quoted somebody else, and I should have written it down, but I didn't have that in front of me to do at that moment. But in essence, what he said was, and he was quoting somebody else, life is about knowing what to hold on to and what to let go of.
Kenny Loggins.
Sounds good, but I think Loggins stole it too.
You gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away.
Think about this. Hold on to your purpose and let go of anything that is contrary.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. You got to pay attention. You got to be there with it. If you're not there with it, if you don't use this tool, it will be useless. You know, it's the hammer that's sitting on the pegboard and you're wondering how to get this nail in or get this nail out. You know, you need the hammer. You need the statement of purpose. It will provide a great ability for you to be on course with where you want to go. You want to write it down, put it on your mirror, put it in your car on the dashboard, put it around until you just know it. There's nothing else to know. Either that or you'll get to a point where this isn't working, take it down, sit with it, rewrite it, put it back up. Do what you need to do to get this thing to where it's smooth sailing in this direction. Now, does that mean you never have another concern in the world? Of course not. You're going to have plenty of concerns. You're going to have plenty of challenges. But are you looking at life through that lens? If you are, it will be one of the most valuable tool you have in your spiritual toolbox. Having a purpose, knowing your purpose. We all have a purpose. Knowing your purpose, being able to say it, mostly to yourself. Occasionally to other people, but mostly to yourself. Again and again and again. You know, however you want to say it. And you don't have to use those words that were on that form. My purpose is to. You can change that. You can say, I'm here to do this. and say what it is. Or this is why I'm alive. This is why I came to planet Earth. This is it. Be able to say it, know it to the depths of your being. And that's your tool. It's always there to tell you what to do. Many people want to know what to do. What should I do? You should be in alignment with your purpose. That's what will get you where you want to go. Let's take a break. Any questions from our talk about purpose? Anything come up? Okay, it's yours to work on. Please don't let this go. Make this work for you. What you've got being passed out right now is about values, core values. Have you ever noticed those words on the back of the sanctuary?
Yes.
Those are our center's core values. If you weren't in one of the two groups that did that, I'll tell you the story real quick. We started this class called Membership in Spiritual Community. Many of you have taken it. We give it now as the class that we do for people who are joining the center. Initially, though, we had all these members, and so we tried it out on them. So we invited everybody. 60 people came into this room one night, and we did our process. And our process was to write up any core value that people could think of. And we filled these boards with them. There were all kinds of words up there of values that were important to people. And then we had everybody vote. We just handed out the markers and had people put a little tick next to the one that they were voting for, and everybody voted for 3. And when we were done, it was very clear there were 5 core values that were the favorites of everyone in the room. So we called those our core values, and I didn't do anything with them. They did not go up in the sanctuary. And about a month later, we had another class. It was interesting. We had 60 people at that class. But the only 2 that were there that had been the first one were Barbara and me. Everybody else was new, had not taken the class the first time. And I took them through the same process. And they put their words up on the board. We put the words up on the board. Everybody came up and voted. Exactly the same list. In exactly the same order. With one exception. Tied for 5th place, exact same number for 2, was an additional value. And it's interesting, I gave a talk on it one Sunday. Our spiritual growth was our first one. Love was our second one. And at the end, the others included joy, and I'm not remembering at this moment exactly, but at the end of the list, the one that tied at the end was conscious creation. I gave a great talk about how everybody thinks Science of Mind is about getting stuff. Clearly it's not. You're tied for 5th. Yet it was important. It was important enough to add. So Barbara said to me after that second class, and after I ordered the lettering that's on the wall in there, what I was going to do in the next class. I said I'm going to tell them about what we did in the first 2 classes. I'm not playing with that anymore. That worked too good. The idea of values is important. There are these concepts that resonate with us. And the element of recognizing your core values in your life is knowing the principles that you live by. Here's the coolest thing to know about values. You have your own values. And the words that you pick, you could define differently than the person sitting next to you that has the same word. So there's something to this having values, but it's deeper than just a word. When you have your values, it is never, ever about trying to get them. Values are not pursued. They are embodied. They're already in you. And you know because you admire those values in other people. They're already there. But you have to, what we're going to do now, this is your opportunity to find your primary values. So what you've got in front of you is a piece of yellow paper. As we begin this process, you're only working in the first column. Only in the first column. Don't write anything in the other 2 columns, just the first one. And what I'm going to do, and you do not have to pick from the ones that I'm going to read to you, but I'm gonna read some primary values that human beings tend to resonate towards.
Look at you.
You pick the ones that I say or otherwise that work for you. Here's how you know if it, and well, no, we're gonna do that next. We'll do, this is what we're gonna do now, is simply kind of have a meditative state here. You don't have to close your eyes, but I want you just to let these words wash over you. And if a word comes and it pops for you, and yeah, that's one of mine, write it on that left-hand column. If a word I say reminds you of some other thing, some other word that is a value that you can write that one down. Just let come whatever comes. Does not have to come from me, but these are just to kind of grease the thing so that things start moving. So I'm going to read these kind of slowly and just let them float over you and pass you if it doesn't resonate, and just be good with this. So we begin. Truth. Integrity. Honesty. Trust. Joy. Honor. Freedom. Health. Balance. Elegance. Peace. Vision. Spiritual. Power. Dignity. Respect. Humility. Love. Beauty. Gratitude. Courage. Growth. Justice.
What was that?
Justice. Fairness. Wisdom. Communication. Cooperation. Excellence. Simplicity. Competence. Character. Compassion. Fulfillment. Commitment. Dependability. Persistence. Strength. Responsible. Success. Friendship. Acceptance. Surrender. Passion. Reliability. Service. Adventure. Clarity. Diversity. Knowledge. Prosperity. Openness. Oneness. You sit with them and see if something else comes. You don't have to have 12.
What is the difference between dependability and reliability?
You only you can know. Great. So you've got a list. Any surprises? No? Okay, good. That's right. That's how it should be. You picked what resonated with you, let the rest go. Some of you have, your lists are much longer. In fact, most of these words are okay with you. There's nothing that you went, oh God, that's terrible. Because these are values. They actually have value. But some resonate with you more than others. So you've got a list. Fantastic. Now what we need to do with that list is prioritize it. That's important, that it's in order in a way that works for you. So I need a volunteer. Who would like to prioritize their list in front of everybody? Okay, come on, Christine. One of these and the cap's not on very well. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, just read your list off to me.
Integrity.
Okay.
Trust. Joy. Clarity. Power. Love. Gratitude. Compassion. Acceptance. Diversity. Prosperity. I have 13. Oneness. And balance.
Okay, this is Sandy's list. Integrity, trust, joy, clarity, power, love, gratitude, compassion, acceptance, diversity, prosperity, oneness, balance. Okay, can you look at that list and tell me what the number one value in your life is?
Integrity.
And it's on the top of the list. Fantastic. So
We're
here's
gonna
what
make a shingle over our door.
So what we're going to do is create a new list. Great. So that's your number one. It's in the number one spot. So we're just going to do this process. Now listen to how we do this process because you're going to do this in a minute. Of trust and joy, which one is more important to you?
Trust.
Of trust and clarity, which is more important?
Clarity.
So now clarity is more important than joy and trust because it was that's what we just did. So clarity and power, which is more important to you?
Clarity.
Clarity and love, which is more important to you?
Love.
Okay. Love and gratitude, which is more important to you?
Love.
Love and compassion. Now, compassion is an interesting one. Is compassion in love? Is it completely inside of love, would you say? Does love consume the idea of compassion?
I think so.
Okay, so we can take compassion off the list because it's already here as love, okay? Love or acceptance, which is more important? Or is that similar? Is acceptance built into love? Separate? Which is more important, love or acceptance? Don't think too hard.
I would think love.
Okay. Love or diversity, which is more important?
Now that I look at diversity and acceptance, they kind of go together.
Ah, so this, which one is contained in the other one?
acceptance is contained in diversity.
So diversity is the bigger idea.
Right.
Okay, so we'll take that out. So we did love and diversity.
In my situation, love is diversity.
Which is the bigger concept?
Love.
Okay, so we can take this one out too, because it's right here. This is good. This is how you refine the list. Love and prosperity, which is more important?
Well, prosperity can be in love too.
Do you want to do that? Do you want them to be the same thing? Okay, there we go. Love and oneness.
Love.
Love and balance, which is more important?
Love.
Love is number 2 on the list. Fantastic. Okay, so we got to here that love was, we're going to take it out because it's over here. So love was greater than actually all of them. So we really have to go back to the beginning again to make sure that we're going to catch what's next. Actually, that's not true. When you mark that one out, you go to the next one below it. Which one is more important, gratitude or oneness?
Wouldn't you start with power or clarity?
Clarity is where.
Oh, let's just start at the top. We did this. We did this. In fact, we got down to love. So yeah, okay, let's go to power. Power or gratitude? What's more important in your life? What's more important, gratitude or oneness?
They're kind of together.
Which one is containing the other? Oneness is
gratitude.
Okay, so we can take gratitude out and say oneness. What's more important to you, oneness or balance?
Oneness.
Okay, there we go. That goes off. We're going to start at the top again because I've kind of lost my place. Trust or joy?
Trust.
Trust. Trust or clarity, which is more important?
Clarity.
Clarity or power, which is more important?
Clarity.
Clarity or balance, which is more important?
Those go together.
Balance and clarity?
Yeah,
Which
balance
is-
can go into clarity.
So clarity is the bigger concept in your mind? Okay, so clarity is here. Clarity. Trust or joy was still trust. Trust or power?
Power.
Okay, power is bigger. Okay, power goes here. Trust or joy was trust. So trust goes here. And joy. And you have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good for you. So let's look at this for a second. Integrity, love, oneness, clarity, power, trust, joy. Do you see any conflicts between those ideas in the order they're in? Or any of them hitting each other and creating any kind of angst? Or they all feel good?
I think trust could go beside integrity.
Okay. So it's off the list, it's up in integrity. Integrity you hold as your highest value still, right? Very nice. Okay. Integrity, love, oneness, clarity, power, and joy. You've gotten all the way down to what, 6, 2, 4, 6, yeah. I think that's a great list. Please give her a hand. Any questions about how we just did that? It's simply, all you have to do is look relationally and find out which comes the other ones. That's all you're doing. And by doing that, you're creating priority. So that's your task. Take your list now into the second column and go ahead and write, first of all, just what do you see on that list that pops as the most important value in your life? Write it on line number 1 in the center column. Everybody knows. Don't overthink it. And if you really can't do it, then just start with the process. Take the first two, which is more important. And the one that wins that one, and the third one. And just work your way down. I'll say you enjoy some quiet time.
That was so fun.
And create your center list. Anybody here not have love on their list? That is the really, most people have love on their list, but that's fine. Good to know that that's not always the case, okay? See, all these words mean something to you, and the person next to you, they mean something different, so don't think that anything's wrong here. Everything's perfect. Anybody need help?
All the help I can
Just
get.
everybody.
No, I mean with the process. Is there anything right now that you don't understand? Great, then I leave you alone, let you do. You got more work to do. So you that are still working, keep working, keep working. When you've got your center column done, and do that last thing I did. Look at that list and see if there's anything that conflicts or bumps up against something next to it. Because these are the priorities in your life right now. Now, these are not necessarily forever. They are today. These are the highest values that come to your mind today. This can be refined and changed over time. But the thing to look for here is there anything there that's creating any kind of conflict by having them both that close together that you want to think about? And what you can do is, if there is, and here's the classic one. Frida, not, some people have no problem with that at all. That's fine, because of how they define those two terms. But if love means a significant relationship love, I love this person, that's what that means to you, and freedom means I get to do whatever I want anytime, doesn't matter. Can you see how that could have a little conflict around it? Now, if you define them differently, it's no big deal. But that would be something to look at, about maybe deciding if they really belong together next to each other on the list, because that will create friction in your life. Unresolved things, if you define them that way. So look at how you see these words on your list and make sure they're compatible as they go through the list.
How about trust and power?
Could be that that's an issue.
And isn't it that they can be on your list, but it's important to know which one's above the other?
Right.
If I value trust more than power, then if I'm in a situation where I need to trust and not be in control, I remind myself that I'm valuing trust.
Right.
And that even though I really like power, it's not as important to me as trust. It helps me to let go.
Right. And the idea of core values are that they're not the values that you're mandating of other people. That'll get you in trouble. They're your core values. That's what works in your life. See, the other person has a whole different list of values. Even the ones that haven't done this exercise, they have them. And they're different than yours. So when they act in a way according to their values, and you look at that and go, that's just not right. What you're doing is you're trying to impose your values on them. Doesn't work. Gets you in trouble every time. This is your pathway, your map, your way of being in the world. It's important to you. Everybody else gets to do it their way. Not your business. Okay? So this is about your internal work. And as I said early on, the work here is about setting the course for your life by already having these values. So the last column really is just for your final view of what you got to see if something doesn't fit. So if this was the center one, the final one on the right-hand side would not have trust on it. It would have the other five. Okay, that's why you have 3 columns, in case there's any refinement after you've done this priority work. Some people are still finishing up. We'll do a couple more minutes here. April, you want to pass out the next sheet? Who needs a little more time? Oh, good, we're getting there. So that was a worksheet, the yellow one. The one that you're going to want to really work on here is this purple page. Let me talk about what this means. Remember how I said everybody has their own definitions and how your values are not something to pursue? If you have trust on your list and you have a problem with lying, trust does not belong on your list. Because you're not living that now.
Are you saying you have problems with yourself lying or with other people lying?
With yourself.
Okay.
We're not. This has nothing to do with what other people do. Other people are not mandated to live by your values. They live by theirs. And I've known some people that were very good liars. And all I had to do was know that that was their nature to lie, and it was never a problem. Because I knew that was their nature. I'm not going to make them bad or wrong because I hold being trustworthy as a high value. That's not your business. Your business, if you want to observe how other people are, observe them. See how they work. See what's important to them. And trust them to be true to that. And they will. It's amazing. Now, can some people change? Can some people, decide they don't want to lie anymore? Sure, that's great. How delightful is that? Okay, but the idea is don't get caught up in the way other people are. That's their business. They're working through stuff. You don't need that. You don't need that trouble. right? Okay, you just need to know how they are so you know how to interact with them so that you don't get hooked. That's all. That's all. Okay, but we're working on ourselves here. So here's the deal. You have a value. I want you to create, integrity is the first one on the list that we have before us here. So the first one on your list, you're going to create a very short and clear affirmation. Could be for this one, I always act in integrity. I always act in integrity would be a way to use integrity in that. Okay? So whatever your first one is, you write down this very brief and direct affirmation that includes that word, that concept. And you'll see on the sheet it says, every time I, because your values are always present in your life. And this is your opportunity to identify how. Okay? I'll use mine as an example. My first one is, I live my purpose. That's my first value. Every time I am fully present in this now moment. Every time I am aware of the perfection of my life. Every time I am supported and spiritually awakened with others. Those are the times in my life when I am living my purpose. So what you're demonstrating yourself is that you always have your values. Your values are not elusive. They're not far from you. They're totally engaged in your life. My second one is I am always aware of love. That's how I did the love one. I am always aware of love. And I changed it from every time, and so I'm going to read it the way I've really got it so I don't have to translate. By knowing and honoring all as divine presence, by experiencing the beauty of all life around me, and by keeping my heart wide open. That's how I am aware of love. I do that all the time. That's what's happening in my life. So what you're creating here, you can use the every time or you can change how that reads. It's really up to you. But the idea is demonstrate to yourself that you have that value active in your life all the time. Yes, Quan?
Are we going by, when we do this, are we going by the last?
You're going by, the last column. If you didn't get to the last column, use the middle one, because that's the prioritized list. But do look over that list and make sure you don't have any on that middle list that are consumed by another word on there. Okay. But if you should have found most of that when you were prioritizing. So just take the first one and write that brief, concise affirmation. My next one was enthusiasm. I live my life enthusiastically. The next one was about a healthy lifestyle. I maintain a vibrantly healthy lifestyle. Those are you're looking for a quick, easy, clear affirmation. No more than a line. And then you can use the every time for tonight. You can change it later. Just every time, meaning it's always happening to me. Every day. Every day I have that. Questions? Everybody good? Good. Keep going. We got a few minutes to get this going. You're taking this one home with you. Yes, exactly. It demonstrates the affirmation. Exact, you nailed it. That's exactly what it is. Isn't this amazing how you're finding this right inside of you? It's always been.
Is it all working? I thought maybe you were saying we changed it.
So obviously, if you have more than 6, you're going to turn the page over. You've got the pattern. You don't need to have this, the lines, the blanks to fill in. You're getting how this works. Your homework for the next 2 weeks is to complete this form. To complete it and maybe even transfer it into a document on your computer. But if you do the entire exercise of affirming each of your values and telling yourself how you have those things showing up in your life. You're also getting another piece of paper that asks you to write down all the skills that you have in your life. And you have many skills. You have relational skills, you have language skills, you have mathematical skills, you have all, some of you. And everyone's are different, but you have skills. You have management skills, you have medical skills. See, all of you have skills. And the purpose of that is so that you get and remember all the skills you have that you've developed in your life. And then it says your knowledge list. These are the things I know a lot about. Now, it may look like that overlaps with skills. Maybe it does. It doesn't matter. Just write down things you know about. And complete that list. Bring it to class with you in 2 weeks. And then you've got this one that's pink that says, these are the models for my life. I want you to think about who you model in your life. Who really is a standout in your life for the way you want to be? I have 4. They've all transitioned. The last one transitioned last year. Kind of interesting. They're mostly my teachers. Ken Dyers was my teacher in Sydney, Australia. And what he taught me, and that's what it says here, who teaches me, and believe me, even after they're gone, they're still teaching me. But Ken Dyers taught me to be aware of who I was in spirit. That was his lesson to me. It was amazing. It really woke me up to that. Then it was Will Rockingberry, who is my Native American teacher, and he taught me to be impeccable, so that my words and my actions and my thoughts were all the same. That I didn't hide part of myself, think one thing and act another way. And to be impeccable. That was a great lesson that I learned from Rockingberry. The last one on my list, golly, I'm doing a blank on the third one, but the last one on the list is a man named Gary Dahl. Anybody know who Gary Dahl is? Gary Dahl was the man that created the pet rock.
Oh, yeah.
And what he has taught me is to create great wealth from a simple idea. He put a friggin' rock in a box and sold it for $10 a piece at Neiman Marcus. That's brilliant! He's the one that passed away last year. But that's the idea. What is it that these great models in your life have taught you? Can be a relative, can be a human icon, can be Buddha, Jesus, whoever you want to make as your models. Pick them and write them on that and say what it is that they are teaching you in your life. What is it about their presence on planet Earth that has created something for you to learn from? And then the last part of this says, these are the individuals and organizations from which I can draw support, encouragement, and inspiration. I hope this center ends up on your list. But what else in your life do you have that you can call on or know about? What is it that you have as a resource from other people and other institutions in the world? Write them down and bring all of these pages back with you in 2 weeks, because we're going to pursue from all of this knowledge some real outcomes in your life. Will you do that? Yes, Jane? Yes, there is, but I will be in Florida, so Barbara will be teaching next week. You want to talk about that?
Are you done?
I am done. Thank you for your time.
So this is homework for 2 weeks, and this is homework for next week.
Thanks, Barbara.
There's no book for this class. We've gone through so many wonderful prosperity books throughout the years, and this is one of my favorite. It's an excerpt from one of my favorite books, Wallace, Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. That is on our website as a free PDF download and a free audio recording by yours truly. It was the first audio book I ever recorded. I loved it so much. So you can either listen to it or you can read this one chapter on gratitude. Please read it before you come to class next week. And I want to say that those of you watching online, the increased income flyer are those.
April, hang there.
The increased income flyer is on the website, but you need to go through our website, not our YouTube channel. So go through our website under www.cslasheville.org, under resources and downloads, under classes. And one of the first things that will pop up is the 2017 Summer Prosperity Series, and on that page will be the increased income flyer. In 1 week, we already have 5 people online who have sent in their put me on the list increased income form so that they can be part of the increased income program. These other handouts, those of you who are watching this class, by then, these other handouts should be on that same page. So you can go to our website, www.csl.org, and go to resources and downloads and classes and find the handouts. If you just go through YouTube, you end up with the video, but you don't get any of the other perks that way. So YouTube is great, but if you want the other things, go to our website.
Barbara, do they have to say Asheville after CSL?
CSLasheville.org, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, CSLasheville.org is our website, and when you go through the website, it's just a little bit different. Yay, John's joined the Increased Income Program. Yay. Those of you who are filling out your form tonight, please only tear off the part that says, put me on the list. Please keep the rest of the brochure so that you can do your treatment at home. And you can put that in the baskets as they go around. And John and I, when John is in town, he and I, or I, will treat with these in our hands every day. Every day, whenever I think about it, I stop and grab them and do the treatment. And so we are all treating for each other. So I want you to get out what you're going to give tonight. Those of you who are tithing on your increased income, I like to have you do it as you come up and give your story, but you don't have to give the story, so you can put it in the basket. If you have a story to give next week and you've already tithed on that money, either through PayPal or the donation station this week, or brought your check over or whatever, just remind me when you get up to give your story. But the story is about money. At the end of the class, we can share other things that have happened, but right now we are learning how to create money out of thin air, create money in our mailboxes, create money in our paychecks, create money by people handing us money, create money by finding money, create money in many, many different ways, because we are powerful, creative, spiritual beings, alive and well on planet Earth. We prosper and we thrive. And that is what we are doing in this class. And so I got to ask you once again, are you ready?
Yes!
Are you ready to have what you want to have?
Yes!
Are you ready to buy what you want to buy?
Yes!
Are you ready to go where you want to go?
Yes!
Are you ready to do what you want to do?
Yes!
Are you ready to be who you are meant to be?
Yes!
Together.
I surely know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is.
Again.
I surely know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth,